Welcome to the Life Self-Mastery Podcast, where we bring in entrepreneurs who have created online businesses and improved their lifestyles. Here's your host, Rohit Malhotra.
Hi everyone, this is Rohit from lifeselfmastery.com, and today I'm excited to have Guy Kawasaki, who's a marketing evangelist, author, and Silicon Valley venture capitalist, who's the founder and managing director of Garage Technology Ventures. Guy was an Apple fellow at Apple Computers and sits on boards of BitPass, FilmLoop, and SimplyHired. A noted speaker and founder of various personal computer companies, Guy was one of the individuals responsible for the success of Macintosh company. He's also the author of 15 books, including The Art of the Start, How to Drive a Competition Crazy, Selling the Dream, and the Macintosh book, and the newly released book, The Wise Guy. Guy holds a B.A. from Stanford University and an M.B.A. from UCLA, as well as an honorary doctorate from Babson College. A huge thank you to Lillian Ball from Penguin Random House for organizing the interview. Welcome to the show, Guy.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk to your audience.
Awesome. So, you've done a lot of things. How did you get your start into entrepreneurship?
My start in entrepreneurship, probably reading about all the magic that was happening in Silicon Valley. And then I went to Stanford, so I was, where it was happening, and you could see the power of HP and all the cool stuff they were doing. And it's like being in Disneyland in Silicon Valley. Okay, and
you did your MBA and then worked in the jewelry business,
Yes.
and then you moved on to Apple. So how did you get that opportunity to work in Apple?
Yes, I if you looked at my career path, you would hardly say that it's linear, nor necessarily optimized. I went from the jewelry business to Macintosh. I left the Macintosh division, started some companies, went back to Apple, started more companies, became a writer and a speaker, and now I'm chief evangelist of Canva. This is an online graphics design service out of Australia, and a Mercedes-Benz brand ambassador. And I just want you to know that, back in high school, if you think that I planned this path, you'd be very mistaken. And the question you specifically asked me is, how did I get the job at Apple? That was pure nepotism. And by that, I mean that my college roommate, Mike Boych, hired me into Apple. I, on paper, did not have the qualifications for that job at all.
Okay, and you worked with Steve Jobs
Yep.
at Apple during the early days. What did you learn from Jobs?
Oh, how long can this podcast go? I learned some really crucial lessons. First of all, that your existing customer can't necessarily tell you how to evolve. Let's say that again. Your existing customer can't tell you how to jump to the next curve. They could tell you how to make a better, faster, cheaper Apple II, but they cannot tell you how to make a Macintosh. And your Macintosh customer can't tell you how to make a better iPhone, iPad, or iPod. So that was lesson number one. Lesson number two, I learned that design really counts. It's not just functionality, it's also the beauty of the product. The third thing that I learned is to create a meritocracy, to ignore people's gender, sexual orientation, religion, all the stuff that doesn't matter. Either the person can deliver results or can't. So I would characterize those as one of the three most important things that I learned from Steve Jobs.
Okay, and I want to talk about venture capitalism, because you started Garage Ventures. So what do you look for when you're investing into startups?
I'm no longer an active investor because of my work with Mercedes and Canva, but my investment algorithm is you invest in things that you would use or you are using. That would be one path. Another path is that you find companies where the founders created something that they wanted to use, as opposed to because of some market-driven kind of line of reasoning. So Stephen Woz created a personal computer because that's what they wanted to use, not because they read some consulting study that said, computers are going to be a big deal. So I think those are the two richest veins for picking companies.
Okay, and when should an entrepreneur look for funding? Do you believe it's as soon as you get the right product market fit, you should look at funding, or should you wait till the X amount of revenue to look for funding?
Well, I think that we're trying to draw a picture that is too simplistic. That is, it's kind of a serial process where you achieve this, then this, and then this, and then this, and you go down the line in a nice straight path. And in fact, it's not true that you're building your prototype, you're trying to make a sale, you're trying to raise money, and you're trying to recruit all at the same time. And one of the things that entrepreneurs must understand is that as an entrepreneur, your life is parallel. It's not serial. So if you want a path where you only have to do one thing at a time, don't be an entrepreneur.
Okay, got it. And what characteristics should an entrepreneur have to build a great company?
Well, I think that this is a largely theoretical discussion because, let's say that I say that the person has to be hardworking, honest, and smart. Let's just say, all right?
Right.
Well, so, people listen to this podcast and they say, okay, from now I'm going to be smart, from now I'm going to be honest, and from now on, I'm going to be, hardworking, and that's going to make me an entrepreneur. Well, I mean, if it were that easy, then, everybody would just change their character, number one. And all the people who are already that would be successful entrepreneurs. So I think that there is no straight and direct path. Some entrepreneurs are really social and outgoing, and, you'd like them to be your best friend. And some entrepreneurs are social misfits. And some entrepreneurs are social misfits. So there's no answer. And I think at the time you have to pick, should I join this company? Should I invest in this company? There really is no way to tell. And it's only after the fact that you can say, oh yeah, I knew Steve and Woz would be great. I knew Larry and Sergey would be great. I knew Jerry and David would be great. Well, yeah, after you know that Yahoo and Apple and Google and Cisco and Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook are successful, you can say, yeah, I knew those founders were great. But, thousands of startups happen every year and a few dozen succeed. So, it's hard to pick.
Correct. And you talk about being a solo founder and having other co-founders. Do you think having a co-founder makes a startup easier, or
yes. It's I don't think that entrepreneurship is a solo affair. There are fundamentally two functions. Somebody has to make it and somebody has to sell it. And it's very rare that the person who can make it can also sell it. It's probably even more rare that the person who can sell it can also make it. So, this is Steve and Woz. Steve could sell, Woz could make. And if you didn't have both of them, Apple might not have been a success. So you need to find co-founders that complement your skills. So if you're the engineer, you need to find a salesperson. If you're the salesperson, you need to find an engineer. And that goes throughout the whole company. You need to find people that are better at what they do than you are.
Okay, got it. So, you were an evangelist at Apple, and you're also a marketing evangelist at Canva. So how's evangelism different for marketing?
I would say that evangelism is the purest form of marketing. And by that, I mean that, evangelism, which means bringing the good news, you have the other person's best interest at heart. So if I tell you to use Canva, it's because I truly do believe that using Canva, you can create great graphics. And great graphics is going to make you a better communicator, and being a better communicator is going to make you more effective. So don't get me wrong, it's good for me if you use Canva, but fundamentally I have your best interest at heart. That's not true of all of marketing and sales.
Okay. And how did you become an evangelist for Canva, which is an Australian company?
Uh, they saw me using Canva for my tweets because of my social media assistant. And so they reached out to me, and then I checked with my assistant to see if this is the company we were using, and she said yes, and I asked her if we should help them, and she said yes, and the rest is history.
Okay, and is your day job running Canva, or you also a
No,
master for Mercedes?
my day job is not running Canva because Canva is fundamentally located in Sydney and Manila.
Okay.
My job is outward focus. It's to spread the word about Canva, not to run a department or supervise employees.
Okay, and do you use social media primarily to be an evangelist for Canva?
Yes, I use. I mean, that's maybe all I use.
Okay.
Yes, I think that social media is God's gift to entrepreneurship because social media is fast and free and ubiquitous, and how much better can it get than that?
Okay, and which of the social media platforms you use to promote promote Canva or yourself? I know there was a time.
I use
sorry.
I use LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay, and you were once using Google Plus also. Do you still use Google Plus, or do you think
No,
that's...
I mean, basically Google Plus is being discontinued. So, sadly, it's going to be gone soon.
Okay, and out of LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, which is your favorite social media platform?
Probably LinkedIn because people are more likely to be who they say they are there.
Okay, and since you use social media so extensively, what are some things you're doing which listeners can do to increase the engagement on social media platforms?
Sure. So I think that all social media posts should either have a picture or a video with it.
Okay.
Except for LinkedIn. For some reason, I think LinkedIn plain text posts work the best. So that's one. Number two is to always have it in your mind, am I providing value? Am I providing information or assistance or amusement? And if you provide enough value, then you earn the privilege to do some promotion. And the model I like to cite is Wikipedia or National Public Radio, where Wikipedia and NPR provide such great content that every once in a while they can run a fundraising campaign. And the fundraising campaign is extremely successful. It's because they have been providing value. So with your social media, you should be providing value so that one day you can tell people, hey, buy my book. And they'll feel like morally obligated to do it.
Okay, and do you also promote social media posts, or is it about really making sure that you provide value and provide that engagement? Do you believe in paid media to really promote and promote your posts?
I have done it a few times. Philosophically, I guess I just believe that my post should be so good I don't need to pay for people to see it. And it's not like I have a $5 million budget. I don't know. It's just I'm scrappy. I mean, but don't get me wrong. I have paid for Facebook campaigns. But one thing I want to make crystal clear is I have never ever bought a follower.
Okay, and do you have any tips on how to increase followers? Especially in new social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook.
Just provide great content. It's very simple.
Okay, so I've read your book, Wise Guy. It's a phenomenal, fantastic book that you've written. What made you write Wise Guy?
Well, I'm 64 years old. I kind of at the end of my career, and I wanted to pass on some wisdom that I have gained so that people can avoid the mistakes I made. and learn from.
Yeah, and guys, is a biographical book, or is it a book about lessons from Guy Kawasaki?
It is not biographical in the sense that, I take you from my birth and I walk you through every, period of my life. I do a little bit at the start because there are lessons I learned from my parents and grandparents. But after the start, then it goes completely by subject, Apple, parenting, values, business, that kind of stuff. So it's not meant as an autobiography or memoir. It's meant as a collection of stories that communicate wisdom.
Okay, and what can be one takeaway for listeners who can have when they read the book?
One takeaway is if you want to be successful, you need to have grit. That is, you have to work hard. There's no magic in success.
Okay, and as you rightly mentioned, that you have sections in the book about social media, values, parenting. You have a lot of phenomenal stories that you started surfing at the age of 62. So how's the surfing been for you?
The surfing is going well. I took it up at 62 and I truly do love it. There's a lesson there too that learning is a lifelong process. It doesn't stop when you're young.
Right, and you've also talked about speaking, and there's some great stories about your keynote speeches in Russia and for other places. So how can somebody become a good public speaker?
Practice and quantity. I speak 50 to 75 times a year since 87 or 88. And it's taken this long to be as comfortable as I am. Another tip is tell stories. Instead of using adjectives and bragging, tell stories. It's not about promotion. It's about entertaining and educating. So tell stories.
Okay, and you've also recommended a book called If You Want to Write, if you want to improve writing. In fact, I went ahead and bought that book also to improve my writing, and I learned a lot of great things. Excellent book. You have any other tips on how to improve writing?
Kind of like speaking, you just have to keep doing it. You have to enjoy the editing process as opposed to the drafting process, and it's just repetitive. Grind it out. You don't wait for the quote unquote inspiration. That's for amateurs. You just show up and start writing, and you grind it out. It's just hard work.
I completely agree, and you've written 15 books till now. Which is your most memorable book out of all the books that you've written?
Every book is a memorable book.
Correct, and the next segment is what I call the top three, where I ask the top three questions. Let's quickly do what's your favorite business book?
My favorite business book. Probably Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen.
Okay, and if you could go back in time when you started your entrepreneurial journey, what is the one thing you would have focused on?
I would have focused on not believing all the hype and not scaling as fast enough. I scaled too fast. I scaled the company too fast because I started believing the hype.
Okay, and what's your favorite online tool? For example, Gmail, Slack, LinkedIn.
This is a very boring answer, but I spend my life in Apple Mail.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Put that in the show notes. So, what is the best way people can buy the book Wise Guy?
Well, if you're in India, at the Amazon India site, Amazon, or, at GuyKawasaki.com, I have a page for the book, and I list other sellers around the world. But it won't be hard to find this book. I mean, the publisher I use has great distribution.
Okay. And what is the best way people can reach out to you and know more about it?
Well, my email is my name at Gmail, so GuyKawasaki@gmail. And if they want to see what I'm personally doing, it's my Instagram account. And if they want to see, my business and other kind of leanings, it's my LinkedIn account where I'm Guy Kawasaki.
So, we'll put that in the show notes. Thank you so much for your time, Guy. It was an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm glad you liked the book. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Life Self-Mastery Podcast, where we teach you how to start and grow your online business. For more information, visit Rohit's blog at www.lifeselfmastery.com.